Yo, what's up, man? It's G Bush back at it again. Another episode of the Barbershop. I want to remind you guys that you can cop all your gear at shopfifthmerch.com. Hats, shirts, hoodies, all of that. I want to thank everybody for saluting the brand and just holding me down with the brand. So shopfifthmerch.com, ship it anywhere in the world, and it's easy, quick, simple, and to get it out the way, we'll have it shipped out to you. So Thursday night is coming up, and we got Bengals versus the Browns at home. And I'm thinking, and I'll get to this in the preview or probably another video, but this is probably the most anticipated game or probably the biggest game that the Browns have had in almost like 15 years. And that's because there's an opportunity to go out and beat a team who had the #1 overall pick and had a terrible record. And they got Joe Burrow, and now you see Burrow versus Baker Mayfield. And a lot of different excuses that I'm hearing from individuals is, oh, well, continuity. We can't just switch everything up, G. Bush. You got to let him get an opportunity. You know, we got to stick with something once in a while. It's just one game. All right, I hear you on that one. So, but here's the point. If you're going to say that about Baker Mayfield, which all those three things might be true, then you got to also say the same thing for Joe Burrow, if not even to a higher extent. Because guess what? Joe Burrow has one game of NFL experience. He has played no preseason games. It is a new system, just like Baker's, because he's a rookie. Also, Joe Burrow didn't have OTAs. He was learning remotely just like everybody else. So if you're going to get that excuse to Baker, the head-to-head means so much, because if Joe Burrow comes out on a short week after a loss by a field goal and comes into Cleveland on the road, outperforms Baker Mayfield, and has less weapons, a worse offensive line, about the same defense, you have no choice but to look at the correlation from face value. Baker has skated because people didn't think Lamar Jackson was going to be good, and he didn't go over #1, and they wanted to be a running back. But now you can't skate on this, because the other kid over there in Cincy is a one-year quarterback, rookie. If you let a rookie come in there and outplay you, we already know now we might as well go ahead and keep it moving, because that proves that you don't got to have 35 years under the same coach to be successful. That proves that you can come in and win on the road, and it doesn't need to be some long, drawn-out process. And that's one of the things that Joe Burrow versus Baker Mayfield really ups the ante. The stakes are higher now, because now you can't afford to lose that one. We ain't got a problem with you taking the elder Lamar Jackson, even though I do still have a problem by how much they actually got beat by. But if you go in and you can't beat Lamar Jackson, you can't beat Joe Burrow, then what are we doing here? Those quarterbacks are going to be in the division for 10 to 12 years. How the heck is the Cleveland Browns going to get to where they want to go if your quarterback is not better than a 38 or 50-year-old Ben Roethlisberger, Lamar Jackson, and then now you got Joe Burrow stepping in? You know, I'd do anything in my power I wish Baker that was better, or to wish upon a star. And I would love nothing more for him to come out Thursday, prove me wrong, throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns, and I swear I'll be right back saying, okay, give me something to work with here. Help me help you, bro. Help me help you and defend you from the people who say you can't play. If you know for a fact that he's not better than Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, it don't look like he's better than Josh Allen, and I don't even think he's that good. He's not better than a lot of these dudes, man. He's not better than any of the veterans, like the Breezes, the Bradys. I don't even think he's really better than Phillip Rivers, to be truthful. So if you don't believe that he can do all of those things, and he can't get to a point where he can beat these guys head to head who are in his own class, his own age group, his own tenure, how the heck do you think we're going to ever go to the playoffs? And a lot of people hit me up today when I was on Twitter talking about why you being so tough. How come you just always on Baker? You better than that, man. You supposed to give. Listen, it's a new stat. Let me explain some football 101 to you. And this is very important to get, guys. Very important. So I want you guys to lock in. I want y'all to listen to exactly what I'm saying, and hopefully I can illuminate y'all and tell you why or why not Baker will be successful, right? So there's a thought process going on, and prevailing thought process is that if you're in a new system, you have to relearn things, and you got a playbook, and it automatically diminishes you. Whereas it's much more difficult to do it with a new coach, new scheme, all that good stuff, right? But the people who say that don't know football. And I'm not here to knock you and say you don't know football like you stupid or something. What I am saying to you is this: continuity. That has nothing to do with his performance. And I can go to the film and I can prove that. I can go to the film and show you exactly why that is not a huge factor in whether a quarterback is good, bad, or indifferent. Let me give you an analogy. If you in a math class, right, and you're doing calculus, you're doing trigonometry, you're doing statistics, you're doing economics, all of these different things are math-based disciplines. So when you look at it from a standpoint of saying, how do I go about learning the building blocks and the foundation of learning how to solve these specific equations? And so when you're there, when you're taking tests or when you're in math classes, the teacher doesn't give you 5 equations that's the same equation and says, okay, solve these, and I'm going to teach you how to do these 5 equations. That won't work, because after you do those 5 equations, you still don't have the context in terms of, okay, how do I go about figuring out and how to do it and how to solve problems that aren't necessarily verbatim on that page, but how do I go about solving any solution, any equation by using my principles?
Many people think learning is mostly about memorizing information. They tend to see the brain as a container for facts, formulas, and procedures. In fact, we've built our public education system around memorization. Increasingly, whether students fail or pass depends on their performance on high-stakes tests that primarily measure how many facts, formulas, rules, and procedures they can remember.
The foundations, the basis of solving equations. Because some people in math, you can solve an equation multiple different ways. It doesn't have to be necessarily the same cookie cut formation. People, as long as you're coming up with the right answer at the end of the day, showing your work and all that other stuff, some people got to go step by step by step. Other people got to say, okay, I understand what the concept is. Let me apply that to any equation that happens.
It's assumed that this kind of knowledge will serve students well when they go out into the real world. We assume it's usable knowledge. But adult life has very little to do with retrieving simple right and wrong answers. It has more to do with being able to use our knowledge to make choices in complex situations where there are no easily determined right answers.
And you say, okay, G. Bush, what are you talking about? You rambling again. Let me give you this. It's the same with football. Just because you are in a new system and you got to go to a new coach, that does not change the core foundation of what it takes to be a good quarterback.
This requires skills like the ability to read situations, evaluate information sources, cope with ambiguity and uncertainty, and work with others to develop solutions.
Case in point, we'll go to the film. Just because you got a new scheme and plays might be different, the concepts of where you have to throw the ball stay the same. Every single team.
He's pointing to him, hey, you got to block that guy. You block that safety coming down. Everything about this looks like run. Before the snap, it looks like run. The Chiefs are thinking it's got to be run. Why would he be talking to that receiver to tell him who to block? It's got to be a run play. And sure enough, it's a play action fake.
Those foundation and principles are at the position, at every position, at with every team. So in terms of saying like you got a lineman, you don't say, you know what, I got a new coach. I forgot how to run block. No, your assignment of who you gonna block may change from coach to coach, scheme to scheme, play to play. But you don't forget the core physical attributes and the things that you need to do to actually execute run blocks. You have to stay low. You got to fire out. You got to have a good punch. You got to have good hand placement.
He looks like he's going to lead block that linebacker, and he's bluffing him. And you try to get the linebacker to do just that. He's going to try to hit him and take him on, and you bluff him.
You got to have good feet to move in front of people. Those things translate from team to team to team to coach to player. Those are basic bare minimums to be in the league. And for quarterbacks, the bare minimum is, if I see cover 2, I automatically know it's a zone. So if they show me a zone, I understand that there's certain routes that we already have in place that can beat that picture, that can beat that defense.
Sideline, as you'll see, that tight end, he bluffs that linebacker, and he's open in the flat. And that's where the ball should go. The receiver's kind of running a post, back to the corner, back to the post. Safety's back there. This safety's got good range. And
you have the tools to do it. If you look around pre-snap and you don't see what you want, you can actually audible and tell that guy to, you know what, we audible into a rocker screen. I see something.
We want to get this home run, want to get this deep throw. He's just not open. He's not open, and that safety's there. Let's take our completion and throw it to our bluff flat route by our tight end.
That has nothing to do with whether, like what somebody's play calling they're talking about. Nothing. Play calling and continuity also have nothing to do with accuracy.
You know, another one too, Baker throws another interceptable ball here. Pretty simple concept. They're running hitches on the outside, right? Hitches on the outside with the seam. Baker has the opportunity to deliver this football to Odell Beckham up the seam once he clears the linebacker, but the ball's behind him. Doesn't put the ball in the window he needs to put it in. Wide open middle of the field. Big gain can be had, but doesn't deliver it where it needs to be delivered.
You got a new coach. You forgot how to throw it to the right person? That's crazy. Like, if you're airmailing balls, if you're airmailing people wide open, not throwing with anticipation, not reading the correct defense, Kevin Stefanski can't teach you the difference between the cover 3 and the cover 2. If you get fooled and you thought it was cover 2 and and it turned out to be cover 3 and you didn't audible and switch somebody and now he's running a slant right into a hook zone, those are all awareness pieces, all of them. So when you think about it, and you analyze what the whole situation is that people are saying of why he's playing terrible or why he's not been playing well over the last 2 years, it's quite simple. It is. It's not the scheme. It ain't the receivers. It's the simple fact that he is confused and constantly fooled by defenses. We'll go case in point. Fire zones, zone blitzes.
And you look at the first interception here, you're going to see the Ravens drop out in a fire zone where they bring 3 off the backside defensive linemen or walked up creeper players to replace the front side overload blitz. Now the Browns have it picked up. They have enough guys there to be able to handle this blitz as they have a running back and end up shuffling forward to a side. They're able to handle it.
Those are put in to disrupt your pre-snap reads.
You know, but Baker has to be able to see things going on. The cerebral part of the game is what Baker's struggling with. He has a clean pocket, has a slant. He's ready to go, ready to throw it. Problem is he's a little late delivering it, and he doesn't understand that the Ravens are rolling to replace that pressure side, and that's what defenses do. They look to get out and take advantage of a hot read from a quarterback and jump that with replacing players in the fire zone, and that's what they do here. He misses Calais Campbell totally, doesn't see Jarvis Landry at the bottom of his screen on a speed out with nobody there from the rotating coverage, and it ends up getting tipped. So Baker's slow to process, slow to get his feet down. If he throws this ball right now, it can be caught.
So they may blitz a corner and drop a D in. They may bring a linebacker, and then you got another linebacker moving to cover his position.
Right? It's not a problem. But he's full three-step drop, staring it down, waiting on his man to come into the window, doesn't see it quick enough, doesn't understand the fire zone replacement, gets tipped, gets intercepted. Unfortunately, this ball normally gets tipped and goes straight to the ground, but this ball gets intercepted, and that's, justifiable because Baker made a mistake in reading here, and bad things happen on bad decisions, and he made a bad decision. Marlon Humphrey intercepts it. So
they may spy you and say if the running back stays in, you're automatically in the rush. These are all different things that defenses do to fool you, so that they can then drop back into coverage, and then all of a sudden you don't know where the pressure's coming from.
Look here in the fourth quarter, it's 4th and 4. The Ravens send a delayed pressure from deep depth. Baker has his shallow cross right now if he throws it. If it hits Njoku in the helmet, it's not Baker's fault. He's getting the ball out quick. The Ravens trade, 3-over-2 and end up chasing. It's a wide open throw right now, but he doesn't throw it even though he's looking at it, has to bail out, forced to scramble, and he's sacked. Again, not understanding the cerebral part of the game, and that's what's giving Baker Mayfield the biggest trouble.
You can't tell because you're like, oh man, I read cover 3, it's cover 2. Or I read cover 3 and it was cover 4. Oh, it was cover 4, it was man.
This ball here should have been intercepted, right? He's throwing his speed out from his number 2, Harrison Bryant here, and 58's ready to pick it off. Luckily, this ball is batted down at the line of scrimmage, but this ball should have been intercepted. It would have been intercepted.
And that changes the route that the receivers run. So you got to, and I'm just breaking it down. This is a very important concept, and I need to get this off, and I need to actually explain this so that people don't just keep saying and regurgitating this type of stuff. Be knowledgeable for yourself, man. You go do this research. And if you've done this research like what I've been putting in these videos or what I put in this video just now, you'd be able to tell people, hey, bro, you don't know what you're talking about.
To understand why Baker struggled early on, we first have to understand the intricacies of the pressure he was facing. The Titans utilize a certain type of blitz that has been quietly gaining popularity in both college and the NFL in the last few years. This blitz is called a creeper blitz. It's also known as a simulated pressure. It's birthed from the zone blitz family.
Because understand, every single play, there are 3 plays. I repeat, every single play, there are 3 plays.
The idea is to overload one side of the offensive line while dropping a defensive end off the other side of the line of scrimmage into the low hole or hook zone.
All right, let's break that down. Let's unpack that. The first play is the play that the coach calls in and you are lining up, getting ready to snap the ball.
Baker sees 6 potential blitzers. While the Browns are in an empty formation with a 5-man scat protection called, the quarterback and the offensive line have to be prepared every snap for an all-out blitz. So, he motions running back Nick Chubb into the backfield to match the 6 potential rushers with 6 blockers.
Phase 1. Play 1. All of a sudden, defense moving around, they're going to show blitz. Guess what? Now you have to diagnose, this is the second play, you have to diagnose and control the protection scheme.
However, the Titans are running a creeper blitz and only bringing 4. On this play call, their rush linebacker Harold Landry will drop into coverage, and instead, Rashaan Evans will cover the intermediate hook and Jayon Brown will attack the B gap.
Okay, I think that guy's coming on a blitz. Let me keep my tight end in. Oh, I think they're overloading one side. Let me slide my protection to that side. Oh, you know what? They're bringing more people than I can block. I got to get rid of this ball. I'm the one who needs to protect myself. What I mean by that is, the offensive line or running backs, they can't block them. You have to account for the guy that's coming free, and you automatically know the ball has to get off. That's the second thing.
Usually, when a linebacker blitzes, it sets off an alarm in the quarterback's head telling him the blitz is coming, and this ball needs to come out fast. But the Titans have a 3-deep, 4-underneath zone defense, which smothers the Browns' downfield receivers.
Right? And then there's the third play, and the third play is the connection. The receiver has to see cover 3. If he sees it, he knows what his responsibility is, right? He can either sit down, he can continue crossing, he can do a deep comeback curl. All of those things you can do based on the receiver seeing a certain defense, right? So the third play, you have to have the quarterback and the receiver see the same thing. I repeat, quarterback, receiver have to see the same thing, because if they don't, quarterback drops back, it's cover 3. He says, oh, it's cover 3, turns into man-to-man coverage. Now, that quick 3-step or whatever it may be of when you were trying to, diagnose and call up the best play for a cover 3, all that's wiped away because now it's man-to-man. So now you have to transition and understand, okay, this is where the ball needs to go.
The Titans present a cover 4 zone pre-snap look, but at the snap, jump into cover 3 sky. This rotating curl flat safety is extremely important to the play and shows how the creeper blitz can affect an offense. The defense forced Baker to respond to the apparent blitz, so he had to motion his running back into the backfield to block, leaving the curl flat safety without conflict.
And the receiver says, oh, this is the route I need to run, and I'm counting on my quarterback to hit me with that, right? So there's 3 plays within one play. And the difficult part about it is you can get 2 out of the 3 right. You get 2 out of the 3 right. You know where they're blitzing from, right? You understand what they're trying to do to you pre-snap. So you have all that down, but all it takes is one thing to go wrong. Miscommunication. I saw cover 2, you saw cover 3. I threw it with anticipation, thinking you was going to be there. You weren't there, obviously, because you ran a different route because you said it was cover 2.
A well-designed offensive concept stretches a conflict defender vertically or horizontally, but without the running back in the flat, the safety isn't conflicted. Since the running back is in the backfield and not outside running a route, the safety can sink back into coverage knowing there is no one threatening the flat. Throwing over the middle with no receiver underneath to put any of the zone defenders in conflict feels dangerous.
These are things and concepts that you guys have to all understand. And when you get that concept, you'll understand why people give the most scrutiny to a quarterback, because he's doing the most things. He has protections, he has audibles, he has hot routes, he has sight adjustments, he has pockets awareness and moving around and figuring out where he can get. He has to throw the ball in passing lanes with defensive linemen with their hands up. All of these things are vital to a quarterback. And so that's why when people say, let's give it a chance and we're going to do this based on Stefanski being a new guy, it don't work like that. Because the new coach don't change the way that you view the field. A new coach does not dictate or give you the discernment in processing defenses. He gives you a playbook and says, I think on this route, it should go here. Let's do a concept. The concept is, all right, we running this formation in this route. Do I want OBJ on this route running the post corner? Do I want Jarvis Landry coming on a shallow cross? Do I want my tight end to go down 10 yards and sit down and look for the ball? All these things are a scheme. Those are scheme, right? It's basically designing what routes you would like them to run optimally based on whatever look you think you're going to get. But if you don't get that look, everything's done. It's off the coach because the coach called a play, and guess what? It's null and void. Now Baker has to go in and understand and say, ooh, I audible to the right thing, didn't I? I got to get out of this play. I got to hit somebody else. So the play after the coach calls it in, that's fine and dandy. But the execution, the foundations and principles that make you a good quarterback are on you. Reading defenses, you. So I just wanted to come give a breakdown on that and kind of give you some film, also give you some snippets of people. Don't take my word for it. the snippets like Peyton Manning, all 22, all different type things. Don't take my word for it. And the reason I do this is because I need to give y'all context to what's going on in the field so that people can't come up to you and say, oh, well, it's just, blanket statement. I think it's just the continuity. No, you're not digging into the nuts and bolts, which you need to be looking at to determine whether or not a guy is good or not.
Our political, ethnic, religious, and national identities are all different forms of partisanship. Of course, identifying with social groups is an essential and healthy part of human life.
It's too many people, betting and rooting for people out of emotion.
Our sense of self is defined not only by who we are as individuals, but also by the groups we belong to. As a result, we're strongly motivated to defend our group identities, protecting both our sense of self and our social communities.
And I get it. If you just want to be a fan, you can just be a fan.
But this becomes a problem when the group's beliefs are at odds with reality. Imagine watching your favorite sports team commit a serious foul. You know that's against the rules, but your fellow fans think it's totally acceptable.
But for them hardcore guys, for the guys that really do this, or the guys that's really into the game, we all know why he's not succeeding. And I'm just here to bring light to it.
The tension between these two incompatible thoughts is called cognitive dissonance, and most people are driven to resolve this uncomfortable state of limbo.
So, with that being said, do I want him to prosper and be good? Sure I do. I want nothing more than say Baker Mayfield's the guy. I would love nothing more than him go out on Thursday, throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns to the OBJ. I would love it. But at some point, I just can't. My eyes don't lie to me. My research don't lie to me.
You might start to blame the referee, complain that the other team started it, or even convince yourself there was no foul in the first place. In a case like this, people are often more motivated to maintain a positive relationship with their group than perceive the world accurately.
It just doesn't. So what we're going to do is we're going to get up out of here. Next, check out the keys to the game. Check out the preview, Bengals, Browns. We're going to get in this situation. And as always, hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button, please, man. It's a situation where I'm confused how many people be getting views, bro. I be so confused. Like, people be in their basement shooting stuff and getting 24,000 views and don't even be spitting facts. I'm confused. I don't know how they got them. But to make the channel grow, like and subscribe and keep, real football alive. Keep real analysis alive. And as always, let's get to it. It's the Barbershop, your boy G. Bush, shopfifthmerch.com.